Thank you for joining me for Beyond a Paycheck, Why Money Doesn't Motivate. I'm Bridget Baggett. I'm the Director of Recruiting as well as a career placement specialist with Career Innovations. And today's webinar is about Beyond a Paycheck, Why Money Doesn't Motivate. As you can see on your screen, motivation is a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. There's no one way or one strategic plan that you can put in place that's going to have your employees energized about their position, about their job, as an overnight fix. So what we're going to actually explore is the different type of personalities that are out there and actually try to tailor some of the things that motivate that individual employee. Again, people are motivated by different things. And what to do is to find out what motivates them. Let's first take a look at what motivates you. As you can see, there's different things that may motivate everyone. From this particular slide, pick some things that motivate you. Take a couple minutes just to think of what are the things that get you to do things? What motivates you to wake up and go to work every day? What motivates you to take time off from work? Is it your family? Do you put those extra hours in for promotion or career opportunities? Do you just enjoy helping people? Is it the money? You have to figure out what motivates you. This way you can explore what motivates others. Me being in the profession of recruiting, me actually going out there, I should say, headhunting, finding candidates that are in roles that they're looking for outlets, I actually come across and able to talk to them and find out why are they looking for a new career? And this question gets asked and it gets answered repeatedly, and everyone has different answers. And you'll be very surprised the reason why people change their jobs. It's not necessarily money. In fact, according to this slide, pay and benefits are only 22% of the reason why a lot of people decide to change jobs. That leaves 78% on the table. So when I did the numbers, I was looking at close to 80% of employees leave their jobs for other reasons other than pay. As you can see, the leader on why people switch jobs is career promotion opportunities. I think in that category also is challenges. A lot of people aren't challenged in their job. A lot of people aren't finding the growth that they need to push forward professionally. A lot of times it's just not a fit. Sometimes the job sounds great. The HR manager or the hiring manager pitches it awesome, but when they get in there, they see a totally different picture. It doesn't align with what they ultimately want to do with their career. So sometimes it's just flat out not a job, not a correct fit for them. Management could be another one, especially as we go through these personalities. You'll actually see how some personalities and some things that motivate some people can actually clash with other type of personalities. And if you're a particular person that has a personality that, are looking to see how to effectively increase the bottom line, and you're managed by someone that's just in it for the authority or very power focused, you can see how those two motivators can clash with each other. So definitely this can also be a reason why a lot of times employees start to look for opportunities elsewhere. But you have to remember, this isn't something that happens overnight. As you can see, according to this slide, there are actually steps to disengagement. There are a lot of reasons why an employee can become disengaged. Again, according to that chart, that it could also be, like you said, they're not a fit. The job is totally different than what they were told. They've been in the job and they see that they can't get anywhere. There's no type of growth or any type of professional development program. So they become disengaged. And really, they actually tap out of their job emotionally before they tap out physically. And I've seen that a lot of times, that a person will become emotionally withdrawn with their job, where I call them just flying under the radar. They do just enough to get by. They do just enough work to get their manager off their back. So these type of employees are the ones that, I'm just sticking around until something better comes along. I'm going to just do the bare minimum just so I won't get called on to do anything else. So there are steps in disengagement, and it's also part of the departure process. Because when you start to notice that employees time, you have that habitual employee that calls out, you have that one that, like I said, just barely does the minimum just to get by. They're going through the steps of disengagement. They're starting to disengage themselves, and they're opening themselves up to other opportunities. So you can actually see how this stair step going downward, it all begins with questioning the decision to accept the job. Because when someone first accepts a job, they're excited. They're happy to be able to join your organization. They're happy to be able to talk with other employees, to meet the staff. But then once they realize they may not only for the job but for the actual company culture, they seriously start thinking about quitting. And as you can see, they start to weigh their options. They start to consider quitting. They start to actually consider how much would it cost if I did quit. And then from there, once they made up their mind that they are going to look for career opportunities elsewhere, they tap out. They simply tap out from their current place of employment. And I'm pretty sure as an employer, if you're listening to this, or as a HR manager, if you're listening to this, you've actually observed candidates and actually observed your own employees tap out of their current position. And this is what they're going through. And it's a process to get them back on board if you really do want to salvage that relationship and you really do want to get them back into being excited about the job. You have to know what motivates them. You have to know what's going to keep them there. And the first thing you need to do is identify what motivates them. How's the personality, or how is their work ethic going to be able to align with what you can offer in that particular position? Know who you're trying to motivate. That's the bottom line. By different things. And it's amazing to see so many programs that are implemented, and it's just kind of like a one-size-fit-all strategic plan. And it really doesn't work that way. It really boils down to communicating with your staff, and this is for department heads, this is for actual hiring managers that actually have a team or department. Get to know your employees on a level where you know more than just what they do on the job, but you also know what they like, what they enjoy, what gets them excited. And you want to use that to be able to make the work environment just as fun as the environment. Be able to add some of those personalized touches so they can feel as if I'm not just another warm body working for you. Type of personalities, the first one is the logic and truth, which is called the truth employee, which is a logical employee. This is an employee that actually is looking for ways to better their best. They always are looking for different type of knowledge. They're passionate about learning the right answers. They question the whys in projects. Why is the process the way it is? Why is something works a certain way? They love to new information. They're simply motivated by research projects, research, continuing education perks. Of course, these type of employees love to take advantage of your tuition reimbursement, and I'm pretty sure you know a lot of candidates, especially if they have to get department heads to sign off on this. You can identify a lot of employees that do take advantage of your continuing education and your reimbursement programs. They love the knowledge bases. They love to put together the knowledge bases. These are the employees that actually, if they find a fix for something or they have a solution for something, they love to update. They love to be able to compile information for people to have access to. They like follow-ups. Again, they like to be in the know. They like to know why things happen, what caused it to happen. They're very strategic and logical in the way they work. And it's time for employers to have employees like that to meet these motivators. If they love a particular aspect of the company, give them information about them. Allow them to learn. If they would love to see how a different department works, have them set up to do a shadowing or mentoring with someone in that different department to give them some firsthand insight on how that operates. They would love you for this. So this is definitely something that would motivate this type of employee. Your next type of employee is your Unitarian employee. This is a result-driven employee. These employees are bottom line driven. They are very concerned about ROI, which is your return on investment. These individuals love to spend time and their money effectively. They're very practical. They look for an economic return, and the numbers simply have to make sense. What motivates them? Result-driven projects. They like to be able to do some type of process improvement. They're driven by efficiency. These are the ones that try to find a more efficient way to do things. If you ever had employees that skip a step on doing something, but they get the same result, these are the type of employees that, you know what, I can get the same result by, doing this step a different way, or actually cutting this step out altogether. That type of employee is a Unitarian employee that really is trying to figure out what's the best use of my time. If I can do this process faster, smarter, get more effective results, I'm going to do it that way. Instead of reprimanding an employee for that, use them on process improvement projects. Use them to figure out how can we streamline our existing projects or our existing timelines. So instead of reprimanding and trying to conform them to do, this is how we do it, this is how we've always done it mentality, explore what motivates this type of employee and actually nurture it. In fact, these type of employees are the ones that have innovative ways to do things, out of the box thinking that advertisers they want. So when you have this employee, try to find ways to nurture that characteristic that they possess. Your next type of employee is your individualistic employee. This is your power-focused employee. The ones that are kind of like this, these employees question their role. They want to know what and how and what part they play in the big picture. These are usually your decision makers, your executives, your project managers, your overall hiring managers. These are the ones that have more of an authoritative role. And not all of them. Some of them actually come categories, but most of the time what motivates them are opportunities of advancement. They like to be able to lead projects. They love independence. These type of employees like to be able to work on their own. They do not like micromanagement. They do not want someone over their shoulder dictating, okay, when this has to be done, how to do it, and I'm going to check up every hour, every so to follow up with you. These type of employees want pretty much autonomy on their entire assignments. They want to be able to give them the freedom to, I know how to do this, time without feeling the pressure of I have to follow up every day or every other day to let you know where I am on a project. So these are the motivators that actually motivate these type of employees. So if you see some of these type of characteristics in your employees, give them leadership projects. Allow them to work on assignments independently. Allow them to lead a group. So this is what's going to motivate them, and also be able to see, okay, is there advancements in this particular position? Also show that there are different career paths they can take. They would love to take advantage of that, and they'll also stick around just to see where this could lead. Your next type of employee is your structured employee. These type of employees are by the book. They desire uniformity. They have a consistent way of doing things, and they follow a systematic process. They love repetition. They need a systematic workflow, and they're very predictable. And I'm pretty sure everyone has encountered someone that it's almost as if they're not into, they're limited to change. They have a certain way they do things. This is the way they do it. This is how they follow the process. And they kind of already know this is what the end result's going to be. Motivators are consistency. They're not open to a chaotic workforce. They don't want to be on a work in a position where every day is going to be different. And don't get me wrong, some people love that challenge. Some people do want to be in a position that, every day is a new day. Every day something new is happening, something new is going on. But this type of employee wouldn't be a best fit. You don't want someone that does not want to be able to have consistency. This person wants consistency and to be in a role that every day is changing. They don't know what's going to put a lot of strain and stress on this type of employee. And you're right, they'll start looking elsewhere for employment. They'll start looking elsewhere for a position or opportunity that's going to align with the consistency and predictability they want in their life. So if you do have these type of employees, I definitely will look at being able to tailor some type of role that is going to be more repetitive, less stressful, far as something that gives them the sense of this is how things are going to be, and they just have to follow a systematic process or workflow. Your next type of assistant employee, which is actually your assistance employee. These types of employees enjoy helping others. They love the opportunity to serve. Giving assistance gives them a sense of empowerment. They pretty much are the ones that volunteer. They like to support. They're very mentoring. The assignments that they like is training, being able to shadow them, being able to be the person that allows the new hires to shadow them. They love hands-on assignments. Usually these type of roles are like trainer roles. They like to do some type of implementation and train super users on a project. These ones like to help and do a lot of follow-up with being able to assist people. So this is a type of role, if you have employees that do like a lot of training or do like to give a lot of training, give them put the ball in their court, to be able to be able to train a lot of the new hires. Have the new hires actually shadow them. And that way that can give them more of a sense of empowerment because they feel, you know what, I'm becoming an asset of the company. I'm able to help the new hires on board. So that also gives them some sense of worth. Your next type of employee is your form-focused employee. These type of employees are very attractive to their own subjective experience. They are very stimulated by their physical and emotional environment and surroundings. These are the ones that encourage harmony, balance, and some type of cohesiveness. As everyone knows, there's some individuals that like to work individually. These are the type of the ones that love to work in groups. They love teamwork. They like an environment where you're working together as a team. They like to be able to have tools and different types of sources and resources at their fingertips. Working conditions have to be able to nurture a learning environment which groups are open to being able to communicate. I actually have a picture in here of a work environment that would be awesome for an actual a person that's more on forms focused. As you can see, this picture shows a more open floor plan, and a lot of companies are going towards open floor plans and tossing the cubicles out. And they figure that, hey, this is great. The floor plan is open. People can communicate, work on projects, actually ping ideas off each other. And this way it encourages that teamwork and that actual workflow that encourages growth and education. And there also was a study done that showed that open work floor or open space or open workspace plans actually increase productivity 40%. I had to look that up, but I did read an article that did show that actually having an open work flow plan like this, a work plan that's open like this, actually increased the productivity with companies because they work together. How could you, by looking at this picture, how could you not work with your the person you're sitting next to? And then when you're in a cubicle environment, you sometimes become isolated in your own little island, and you feel sometimes not to be even engaged with your coworkers. So this actually is able to form that type of environment. Three things employees care about. They care about their role, their environment, and development. No matter what type of personality or what type of employee you are, these three things never change. They care about their role, which means they care about the security of their role. They also care about where their role is headed. The environment, of course, regardless of what type of employee you are, you do care about your working conditions. The environment that you're in, is this an environment that's going to be highly stressed? Is this an environment that's going to be more so a casual environment, very formal or informal? This is also a component in whether or not a candidate looks for employment elsewhere, depending on their environment. Again, the environment also goes along with the red corporate political tape involved. Is there a lot of drama in the workforce? Again, this also plays a role. Who sticks around? Who's going to stick around in that drama? Or who's going to start looking for a position elsewhere? And the final one is development. Again, regardless of what personality or what employee slot that you fit in, development is always something that candidates and employees look at. They want to know they're not chasing their tail. They want to know that I'm not on the treadmill running for 5 years just to look around and I'm in the same place. It has to be some type of development in the role. And as you can see, a lot of jobs or a lot of careers that have very low type of development, guess what? You have high turnover. Not around doing the same thing over and over again for a long period of time. So if you have a position out there, and I know that some employers, they plan for high turnover because they know that the position that they have, a lot of people don't stay in for a long time because there is no career plan. So make sure there's some type of developmental plan in place for candidates or employees that are in their position that you want to retain and motivate and keep around. Here's some solutions. The number one solution I can think of that I actually put on here is really not about trying to change or, that's really the Band-Aid fix. The real solution is being proactive. The real solution is hiring the right people in the first place. Getting the right type of people in those jobs, matching those personalities and those career fits and those career goals to the right type of department, to the right type of role. So you definitely want to be able to have the right people in the right role without worrying about, okay, is this going to be able to fit long term? So instead of trying to motivate and then change an employee, or when they start to get into engagement process or they already have tapped out of their job, the first thing you should do is, am I getting the right people in these roles? Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at how we're recruiting these people. Let's take a look at how we're even retaining these people before we try to fix them. Be transparent. You want to be transparent with communicating. You want to be able to be very transparent on how you talk about the position, how you talk about your company, and you want to be able to communicate this. The reason why you want to be able to communicate it is because you don't want anyone to feel any type of insecurity job, because once someone feels threatened, they're already disengaged. No one that is uncomfortable is going to stick around for long lengths of time. Again, communication has to be positive. Again, some of the characteristics I showed you, start implementing some of those characteristics or some of those outlets to individuals that carry those traits. Voice your company's vision, mission, and overall values. I'm going to get back to ask the right questions. Sell a lifestyle, not a job, which means that people can sense whether just another job. No, this is just another paycheck. You want to be able to present your career or your opening, and not only your existing openings that you have with employees that they're actually working in today. You want to actually be able to carry that as a lifestyle. This is something that we're doing to for one common goal, to push this organization forward. Again, give assessments go hand in hand with hiring the right people the first time. I'm pretty sure it's standard now that a lot of companies are now integrating assessments with their hiring process, so you're able to see what type of personality traits, what type and seeing if it aligns with your company culture. So I definitely am on board with giving some type of assessment to test whether or not the candidate or your existing candidates, you can actually do benchmark testing, which means that you can actually assess your current candidates and use them as a benchmark against candidates that you're going to hire in the future or that you're taking applications from. You can use them as your control, and then you can, as you hire and as you interview people, you can again compare their results from this assessment to, let's say, your top producer's results. You can get a clear picture if this person measures up. Assign tasks that align with their overall values. When I go back to ask the right questions, why you're interested, what does that mean? What that means is you want to ask the question why. When you ask the question why, it opens up so much information that you can take from that. When you ask someone why they do something, they'll tell you why they do something. If you ask someone, why do you want to be a software developer? And if they tell you they want to be a software developer because they want to be able to be the leader in software development, or they want to be able to dominate the market, that lets you know you have someone that's that wants to be more so in a leadership role. That also when they come in, they're going to be looking for some type of advancement within your organization. So you'll have that. If you have someone that says, I'm doing software development because I like to help. I like to help the people that use our software. I like to be able to support this software. Now you have someone that's more in an assistance type personality. They like to help people. They may be looking for more of a trainer role or support role. So you're able to determine that by actually listening to the answers, because they're telling you exactly what motivates them. They're telling you, this is what I like to do. Some ideas that I actually put in place for motivation. These are takeaways in addition to what you can do for like an on-job motivation, like motivating them with some assignments that actually are tailored to what they like to do. These are out-of-the-box ideas that I've actually seen other employers do. And I thought they were pretty cool. I thought, and if you read through, I'm not going to go through each and every one, but if you read through some of these ideas, one is taking a day task off, paying class. A lot of these require some type of communication, more so on a professional/personal level. It requires more than just knowing what they do at your company. So as you can see, these ideas require you to actually get to know your employees. They push for you to figure out what is this person into. If you were going to pay for them to take a fun class, you got to know what they do for fun. That's the same thing with the favorite membership to a trade organization or association. You have to know, what are they into, what groups of professional organizations they're a part of. So again, this takes you being able to step outside the office and actually communicate and engage your employees on a totally different level. And believe me, they'll thank you for that. Another one I did like was having a massage therapist come in once a month. I know that some actually have massage therapists on staff. Some of these huge big box companies do. Pay for child care fees for a month. If you know that employee and they're really struggling with being able to get child care. And I thought this was so nice that an employee actually did this, that it was an issue. Good employee that had issues with getting child care and everything else, and they didn't have an on-site child care facility, because I know some employers actually have that as a benefit package, that they have an on-site child care. But instead, the employer would say, we'll pay for a month of your child care. and it was a trade-off. And for them paying a month for her child care, she did not miss a beat coming to work, did not call out, was not late. And you could see that that motivated her to, you know what, and that also freed up a month for her to be able to make arrangements for the following months. And it also showed her that their company, she wasn't looked at, oh, well, we had just replaced her with someone else. You know, they actually stepped up to the plate and said, you know what, we'll help you out. You know, we know that this is something that you care about. And that did motivate her to come in every day on time, and motivated her to, you know, find other outlets for her, for child care moving forward. So it's just other ways that you can implement, not only to motivate, but also to reward um, your employees. So as you can say, this is a journey. At the end of the day, people will do things for their reasons, not yours, which means you have to find out what motivates them. There's nothing out there I can tell you. I know a lot of companies or a lot of places that give you this plan that, you know, you implement it, they'll all be motivated. It doesn't happen that way. You have to figure out what motivates your employees. And it really starts with what motivates you. Ask those questions. You can start doing surveys, give out surveys, and figure out what motivates your staff, and start tailoring your plan, and tailoring not only your hiring plan to onboard the right people the first time, but your retention plan. So the journey is a well walked journey, but at the end of the day, you have to know that people will only do things for their reasons, not yours. So join me again. I'm going to be sending other webinars, and definitely check the website. I'll update them in my events tab. If you're on our mailing list, you should definitely get those emails for our upcoming webinars. And have a great day. Check us out at Career Innovations. Talk to you soon.